Right, so what is RYLA? Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. Now, it's an award. It's not a show up and you get it anyway bit of paper. When we used to be able to do the hanging and swinging, you literally had to participate or you got nothing. It was as simple as that. And eventually, even the ones that were a wee bit reluctant, and I'm sure Alistair will back me up in this if I say, even the ones that were a wee bit reluctant eventually did, simply because everybody else did. And it wasn't, you weren't the outsider for doing it, you were the outsider for not doing it. So everybody eventually got torn in and got done, which was always a great thing. But it is an award, and you're given it for doing, not for being. You know, so that just to get that out the road. There's a few mentors here tonight because I know Jenny Lowe's was a mentor forever and a day. Alistair is also a mentor, and this is my 13th year of doing this. I think it's Alistair's 15th year, something like that. You know,
it depends if you count. Depends on how you count. I have 12 mentorizing RYLAs under my belt. And obviously missed last year and missing this year. So this would have been, if in peacetime, this would have been 14.
14 years. I like the way he says it depends on how you count. That must be an Edinburgh thing, because over here we just go 1, 2, 3. You know, so that's what it is now. As I said, after 13 years of doing this, I'm going to be stepping down from the hanging and the swinging, simply because I have said from day one, if the kids think they're spending a week with their granddad, you're too old to go. And I must admit, I feel pretty gutted about it because I loved my week up there. But it's in totally safe hands because Alistair's taking over the reins and there's not much about RYLA that he doesn't know. So he's going to be doing that. Good. Right. I'm not going to do this as a listen to James night. I need you guys to ask what you want to know. And then we'll take it from there, because I always find that one question usually sparks off another, and we'll go from there. And I'm jumping between two screens, so if you think I'm ignoring you, please, that's not the case. I'm just trying to see if I can find Kenzie. Nope, not yet. No. She might be doing, 16-year-old things and not 60-year-old things. So go, who's going to go first? Somebody that's not muted would be good. Right, let me go first. We're not having the hanging and swinging this year. Sorry, Anne, go.
I was just going to ask, I wasn't involved last year, but I know what RYLA is, but I'm not clear about what happened with the virtual RYLA since we couldn't do it with COVID. Right,
well, the virtual RYLA was actually the brainchild of our district governor, Callum. Because he came back to me and said, James, I think we could do this with Zoom. I said, well, do you think so? He said, well, yeah. And that's your job, go sort it. So it was definitely Callum's brainchild that we could do it. And it was excellent. It was absolutely fabulous. We had, from all over our district, we had RYLArians, but we also had 6 from Malawi who joined in as well, because the time zones aren't that much of a difference there. And as you know, the Rotary Club with the biggest name in the world, Traquair and something, they've got big ties with Malawi, so they had come along and done that as well, which was great. We touched on the things that we touch on in the hanging and swinging RYLA, which is leadership, because it's Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. So the leadership side, when we're out and about, is basically we use the outdoor centre as a conduit for leadership. We're there to have fabulous time, of course we are, but we use that as a conduit. So last year we just used the Zoom as a conduit, and we've done leadership styles, we've done what leadership is, what do you expect from leadership, as a manager and a leader, the same thing, all that kind of stuff. We touched on peace and conflict resolution with Keith and Jean, which was absolutely fantastic. If you ever get the chance to listen, please do, because it was absolutely brilliant with Keith and Jean. We had the chap came along and spoke to us regarding End Polio Now, and what Rotary's been doing forever and a day to get that done as well. And we touched, unfortunately, and again during this week, about the fatalities that Rotarians actually get shot and killed for doing for volunteering. So, and we lost another 5 this week there, and 4 was badly injured. So we touched on that as well. So that's a very, in a nutshell, what we do on it. We had some feedback, obviously, and we listened to what was said, and it was Kenzie herself who said, "Why are you doing it at 2:30 in the afternoon?" Now, I thought 2:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday was absolutely perfect. He says, "Why are you doing it at 2:30? You can't. Nobody can do anything in the morning. Nobody can do anything in the evening. You've got it at the wrong time." So this year we're doing it at 10:30. You know, so we're doing it from 10:30 to 12:30, Saturday and Sunday, 24th and 25th of July.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, we had Keith and Jean Best talking to our club today.
Oh, right. And was it right?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Superb.
Yeah.
What a great project.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely, definitely. Good. Right. Now, there must be reservations to sending people on a Zoom one rather than going out and about and hanging and swinging. What is your reservations, and see if I can help out. Go, Sandra. Don't tell her. She'll get it in a minute.
Okay. I've noticed, James, when you came through to Edinburgh, and we've had yourself, but we also have had some of the youngsters who've taken part, who've spoken very, very highly at the old formal, the old format of Rotary. And something that really impressed me was, as well as standards of leadership, it really promoted super networks, and a lot of friendships had developed when people were away. So I wondered if you felt that might suffer with it being on Zoom, that those contacts and networks maybe wouldn't have the same opportunities happening.
Well, I'm probably the wrong one to answer this, because hence the reason I was wanting Kenzie to co-host, because she was actually there last year. Kenzie was a Rylarian from Livingston who came out, who was going to come along tonight. And again, just give me a wee second to jump onto the other screen, in the off chance she's listening to this and not letting me know she's here. No, she's not. But Kenzie said the other night there when I was talking to her, she said that she thought the Zoom side of it was actually a wee bit better for doing that, simply because you didn't have the interaction. You had to do it remotely, and that made it a wee bit more focus on it, a wee bit more trying to do it, rather than everybody sitting around the dinner table or everybody sitting around a lounge table in the big room for it. So she certainly got plenty out of it and said that she thoroughly enjoyed the Zoom side of it for that.
Can I comment on that, James?
Yes, go.
If I thinking back to last year, what happened was, there was the group, like we are just now, but then we were split into rooms, and it gave everybody the chance to get to know each other. And different things, I think, as well, because Alistair was answering questions. I was the leader of one group, James was another. So it did give us a chance, it gave everybody a chance to have a go, to talk amongst themselves. Oh, here's Kenzie now.
Yep, she is.
Hi, sorry. I had a little bit of trouble getting into the thing. I was logged on to the one from last night instead. I'm so sorry I'm a bit late.
No worries. We were just slugging you to death. Don't worry about it.
Thanks.
Kenzie, you've actually come in at the perfect time, because we've just had a question there where it was said that the camaraderie and the friendships that was built up during the hanging and swinging, Ryla, and I was saying that you'd said the other night that you thought everything went well from that side because you had to focus a wee bit more. Could you maybe just elaborate a bit on that for me?
Yeah, I brought that up last night, actually. When we were talking about the friendships that were made, obviously because it's a bit harder to make connections online, because you can't exactly have that little bit of small talk. Everything you said is being broadcasted to everyone on the call. but because it was harder to make the connections that were made were more meaningful. And we also got a lot more work done as well, because there wasn't that sort of like little bit of chit chat in between. So usually if you were like in person, you like might have like a little gossip for 5 minutes, or you might like goof off for a second, whereas you can't really do that online. So it was a lot more effective a use of time. We got a lot more done in the time that we were allotted because it was done online.
Good. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Pam, you had your hand up earlier, and have we covered it?
No, actually, at these dates, are you just announcing these dates now? I haven't heard of these dates at all.
You're absolutely dead right. You're right in there at the pointy edge. These dates,
Right.
it's getting done right now.
Right. It's just clearly the schools finish, you know, they're just about to finish. And so it's getting information out. I don't know how everybody else manages to get the information out about what's happening in their holidays. Have other people got ideas how they're going to get the information out?
We have school emails that the school contact us by, and we get them all throughout summer as well. So if you could send information to the school, if they're like my one, they should have the school emails that they give all the school kids, and they can just send information through there. That they've been doing for the past couple of weeks, with, like internships and like job opportunities, sending that directly to the email. We get that we all read through them.
Right. Okay.
There's a bit echo with you, Kenzie.
Yeah, could you just check your speaker? It sounds as if you're underwater.
Yeah, I'll just connect my earphones, so I'll be on second.
I mean, I think the only way I'll be able to get this out is by the Inch Park Community Centre. There's a guy there that will probably put it out for us. But the schools, it does feel pretty much like a no-go zone at the minute with issues that they have. You know, that they've got enough problems at the minute somehow without another little. I'm not saying this is a problem. I think this is a good thing, but it's just they sort of don't want to. They don't want to be contacted, I think, at the minute, because they've got so much on with all the other things. But maybe that's just us in Edinburgh. I don't know.
Well, in Edinburgh, the schools actually, some schools will be finishing tomorrow, and the rest will be finishing on Friday lunchtime. So the timeline is pretty tight.
Guys, last year we had it in August, and we got people then as well when the schools were still off. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It most certainly will never be easy. And it doesn't matter if we put it out in February or March, it still wouldn't be easy, because the schools are up to here and drowning and stuff. And then somebody knocks on their door and says, listen, we're doing this wee virtual thing about leadership. Will you send somebody along? And they go, yeah, okay. Shut the door and go, that'll be right. Right? Simply because they're drowning and stuff. And most of my families, extended families, are teachers, so I get it every single week. There's no easy way around this, guys. There really isn't.
James, can I ask, given the timescales, can you tell us when the application forms will be out to us, please? And when they've got to be returned by?
I can get the applications forms out to you ASAP. If somebody would like to jot down this address, District 1020 RYLA District 1020 at yahoo.com. It's a bloody well hope that's what it is.
RYLA District 1020 at
contact through that email and ask for the application forms to be sent to us.
Yeah.
contacts.
Yeah. RYLA 1020 at yahoo.com.
No district.
Not district. No district.
Maybe Kenzie could actually put that on the chat at the side, the actual address, James.
Yeah, no worries, I can do that.
Could you put it on the district website?
We can do that as well, yeah. It should already be on the district website under RYLA officer.
Okay, good.
It should be there. If you want to drop me a note, I'll send it to you. There's no point in me putting it onto the district website, because there's so many people that go, I can't find it. So I would rather somebody came to me and said, we want it, and we're intending to give, 2, 3. In fact, there you go. Alistair's just put it on. ryla1020@yahoo.com. And that's when it is. And I can have it to you by almost return of post.
Put it back up again.
Guys, I don't think it goes away. No, it's there. If you hit the wee balloon at the bottom that says chat, it should come up on your right hand
Okay,
side.
right.
Can I also ask, when do you want the latest, the forms to you?
The Monday of that week would be fine.
So return to the week in July, the week July,
Yeah.
as late as that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Because even on the hanging and swinging, we get it the week before. So if we can't do it on a virtual one, then we're really struggling a wee tiny bit.
And can I ask what the cost is?
Yeah.
What the cost? Pardon?
40.
40.
And when do you want the money to you, and how do you want the money to you?
Well, can you give me just 10 wee seconds, guys? There's somebody rattling on the window. Right, I need to deal with this. I'm sorry.
Okay, Alistair, it must be down to us now then.
It's you and me, kid.
or Kenzie.
Right, sorted.
Okay,
Set no problem. Set the dogs on them.
Yeah. What's the most amazing thing about this meeting so far is its high value production ethic. I think we're doing really well.
There seems to be a lot of echoing.
Echo, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. You know, high value.
James, I take it you'll send us one copy of the application form, and then if we need more than one applicant, then we can just print off more than what we need. Is that right? Fine.
Yeah,
Good.
absolutely.
Fine.
And is there any information that I can send out to the community centre? Is there any?
Yes, is the answer. Send me, email me over, Pam, and I'll send you everything I can.
That's great, fantastic. I'll go back onto mute.
Oh, that's a shame. I was going to mute everybody.
Can you elaborate on the international connection, please?
Sorry, what was that?
The international side of things. You had Malawi last year. Who's lined up for this year?
Well, we're actually looking at Turkey this year.
Mm-hmm.
We may have one or two from Turkey coming, but I'm quite happy to talk to anybody.
Oh yeah, no, I realise that.
I don't have a problem talking to any, as long as they can understand kind of English, because I suppose it's kind of English I speak. As long as they can understand that. And of course, being Scottish, we have to speak real slow outside of Scotland, you know. Because I've been lucky enough to go to Australia a couple of times, and oh my goodness me, by the time they finish a sentence, you're almost sleeping. They're so slow. You know, it's good.
James, it's Linda here. Do you have a programme already made up?
We do, but thanks for asking. You know. Yeah, we've got a programme sitting, and we will send that. We'll send out. Now, remember, the programme changes on the day if required, simply because people don't make it, they feel ill. There's a million wee things that can happen on it. But yeah, we'll send it.
Yeah, because that's always quite helpful to have, to be able to explain to people that, you know, what's going on, what's anticipated, and you know, some outcomes and things. That's grand. Good.
Can I ask Kelsey, last year, how you felt the programme ran? What you know, when it started, how you felt, and then how it ran throughout the weekend?
I was a bit nervous using Zoom because I'd never used it before, but it was really simple to like log on and stuff. Like all the information was sent out in like a really simple manner. It wasn't like hidden in like massive big text. So the information that I had to put into Zoom to join the meeting was really easy. And once we got in, I really liked the breakout rooms. I thought they were really, really helpful, because you didn't really want to have your camera on and like your microphone on in front of like a massive big group of people. So when they took you into a wee smaller section, you could put your camera on, you could put your microphone on, and you could talk a lot easier. So I thought the breakout rooms were really, really helpful, and I quite liked the presentations as well. I thought they were really, really good. And the one about polio, I thought that was really, really informational as well, because I knew what polio was, obviously, but I hadn't really gone into much detail about it before. So I quite liked how there was a team building side, but there was also like a more educational side, making us more aware of issues.
Okay, can I ask James, is the programme similar to last year? Can you give us an idea what the programme was?
It'll be more or less the same as last year, yeah.
I'll just get rid of the parrot just now.
Kenzie, could I ask you another favour? You were still breaking up a wee bit there. Can you just adjust it, whatever it is, whatever technical thing you need to do? If you could do that, that would be great. I'd like to use big words, but I don't know.
I will have a look at it, because I've put my earpod in that should have like less echo to it. So I'll have a look at the audio settings as we're talking away and see if I can make it any more clear.
Thanks, pal. You went from speaking underwater to sounding like a Dalek.
James, you've got 4 hours on Saturday and Sunday in July. How's that broken down? Is it half-hour spaces or 1 hour?
Well, it is for the excuse me. It is for the youth, the leadership side of it. We break, everybody that comes gets put in a team. Okay. You have to come up with a team name, because we're not wanting to call it team 1, team 2. That's just ridiculous. No. So they come up with a team name, and of course, if you get a team name, people tend to own it then. You know, they own the fact that they belong to that team, and they're not just, you know, a group of people together. They then get split up, as Brenda and Kenzie was saying, into breakout rooms. They do their wee bit, they come back, they give an overall view, and we take it from there. And the same thing happens with the conflict resolution as well. They're given tasks to do on that, and then they come back and speak about it as well from there. And as I said, we have our polio coordinator. He comes in as well and speaks about it. And I'll tell you, 4 hours is not enough, William. Nowhere near enough. But, you know, if you go much longer than that, people fall asleep, you know. Sorry, Jenny.
No, I'm presuming that these are mixed teams this time rather than...
Yes. District 1020 last year had 2 record-breaking things with the Zoom RYLA. One was we had a Zoom RYLA, which we've never had before, and it was the first time ever we had a joint gender RYLA, because as everybody knows, we have it over 2 weeks in Ardonnig, but it's a week for the boys and it's a week for the girls. So we had joint gender. And anybody who doesn't know, ever since RYLA came to fruition here in District 1020, we've been using Ardonnig up on the banks of the Tay, and it's now up for sale, unfortunately. It didn't make it through the COVID problem, and they're having to sell the poor thing, which is an absolute shame. So we're looking at other wee bits and bobs for next year, 22. Although we said in 20, we're looking for somewhere in 21, and that never happened. So fingers crossed it's going to happen in 2022.
James,
what
time does it start on the Saturday and the Sunday?
10:30.
10:30. 4 hours each day?
2 hours each day. 4 hours over the weekend.
All right, 2 hours each day. 10:30, that's right. Good.
And did I mention it earlier? If you're having problems with the schools, try and look at some of the uniform groups, because that's sometimes a place to look as well. You know, young carers is another one to look.
Just about to say that, Dave, but that's our target in Falkirk. Linda and I will be approaching the manager of the Falkirk Club manager, young carers. So and they are particularly interested in the international side because of the young carers situation. They don't get to mix like that. So that's our ambition.
Good. William, I cannot guarantee the international side of it. We can only ask and cajole, you know, and things like that. But we can't guarantee it. We're only hoping for it. As Brenda pointed out, we have a Canadian in Italy tonight talking to us.
Oh, that's good.
Well, actually listening to us. Nobody's getting a word in. For the same reason that they must be thinking about, well, why not? You know, and there's not many countries in the planet that doesn't want to be involved where Scotland is. You know, so that's always a good thing.
I think the time difference might be a problem, though. I think the time difference for Canada, but that's it. You know, you
Yeah,
can't.
well, you're absolutely dead right, Brenda. But if it's exciting enough, people will get out of bed. Sit there in their jammies and their dressing gown. Do their thing, see what it has to be done. Yes, Jenny.
Do you have a limit on the number of people? Normally we would sponsor 2 people, but obviously at £1,000. So we have an earmarked sum. And obviously at £40 a pop, we could send a lot more than that. Do you have a limit on how many?
No, I believe that District 1020 Zoom can take up to 100 people. If we had 100 people at RYLA, my goodness me.
Just think of the breakout rooms for that.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm saying just think of the breakout rooms with 100 people.
I know. Breakout rooms. They'd all be standing on each other's shoulder, for heaven's sake. But no, there's no limit, Jenny. There's absolutely no limit.
How many people attended last year?
I knew somebody was going to ask that, and I meant to look it up earlier and I forgot.
Was there
Maybe Kenzie would know.
14 would have.
Yeah, 14 or 15 it was last year.
In about there, because there was 5 from Malawi, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
so it was around about, it was 14 or 15 that came. On the Sunday, we had one less because the girl that came in the Saturday had already said, listen, I've got a shift on the Sunday and I can't really say no. I've been fighting to get this job, which is fine, which is great. It's better than not coming at all. Not coming at all.
And they were all very eager to come back, I might add.
Yeah. They certainly got tore in and got it done, which is great. Guys, it's a wee bit like everything that, even at our age, sorry, Martin, on you go. You're on mute, sir. Sorry.
Normally I can press the space bar and it unmutes me, so I thought I was unmuted. However, we're just wondering, what do you actually do with them for the 2 hours on each of the days?
They're given tasks to do. The tasks are emailed to them the night before, so that they can have a look at it. Or if I can get it in the morning when I think they're sleeping, even better. We sneak it in that way so that it's sitting waiting for them waking up. And they get tasks to do, and they do the tasks in their teams, and it's all based around leadership. The different styles of leadership. What would be the best style for this? If you're in this scenario, what would you do? It's that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you.
And as I said earlier, for all that we had 4 hours over the weekend, it's not enough. It's not enough, and it's not enough because. It's not that you want to cut them short, because that's what you would be doing. Everybody last year got so involved in it that we had to eventually say, guys, listen, I'm really sorry, but we can't keep going at this. We have to shut out. I think we were an extra half hour, maybe even 3/4 on the Sunday. Which is
who leads the teams, James?
Sorry?
Who leads the teams? Do you select that the day before?
Not really. It's more a random thing. As the names come in, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the team you're in. It's just random.
And do you have any mentors?
Sorry, William, I'm not catching.
It's Bill, by the way. But if you do, have any mentors guiding or?
Oh yeah. Every room has got its own mentor. Sorry, I should have said that as well. Every room has got its own mentor that leads it, but only leads it. They might do a wee nudge here and there to put them in the right direction, but they're there to mentor it. Yeah, definitely. And I think Alistair, in fact, would be the very man to answer this because he had his own team there. What did you think of the way your people reacted?
Yeah, it was really good. Well, I had the guys that came in from Malawi, so we had a slightly unique view. We first of all we had a bit of a language barrier, as Jim said, talk very slowly. But that was fine. Once we got over that and understood how we all spoke to one another, it was really quite good. And getting that insight around how, not going to say RYLA, but just how that leadership element is considered in other parts of the world was fascinating. You know, I was there to kind of nudge the conversation in the right direction when required, but by and large, it was I was in listen mode, just kind of taking in what the guys from Malawi were saying, which is very, very interesting.
That's good. Good.
What is the award element? There was mention of, I mean, are you actually choosing people as to give awards? What is it?
We're not really choosing them, Neil. If you come and do your best, then you will get the award.
Right.
And quite a few, in fact, up until the COVID thing, all my fellow mentors were Rylarians. Each and every one of them had been to RYLA and couldn't wait to get back. However, it's slightly different when you're at this side of the fence than when you're at that side of the fence. But they've been doing it since Adam was a boy, and they wanted to come back and get tore in. I know for a fact that one chap got into university, not on the strength of RYLA, that would be the wrong way to put it, but during his interview, they said, "What's this RYLA thing that you've got in your CV?" And of course, he spoke about that, and they said, "Well, okay, start tomorrow." You know, so it was that kind of thing. It is an award, but it's like every award, you only get out of what you put into it. You know, if you go there and do lip service, and you go there and twiddle your pen or do whatever it is, then you might get a bit of paper, but it's not really worth much to you. You know.
Sure.
Can I just come in again? God, I seem to have done a lot of talking, but when we're talking about, we've talked a lot about the hanging and swinging, and believe me, I love the hanging and swinging, but that's not going to happen. If we can go to the remote, and I think we're all of a different age group, except for Kenzie, of course, and I think the age group that we are looking towards in RYLA are all very used to Zoom and working this way, even more so this year than last year. And I think they're all used to Zoom. Am I right, Kenzie, that everybody through school, you'll be talking on FaceTime and whatever. So you're all very used to that style of communicating now. So it makes it easier.
Yeah, a lot more now. When we were doing RYLA last year, it was like near this, not obviously the start, it was like August, but Zoom hadn't really hit its like, it went massive for a while. I hadn't really used it much before RYLA, but I've used it tons now, and I feel like it'll be so much easier to log on now, because for skills we use either Zoom or we use like Microsoft Teams or stuff like that. But I think Zoom's a lot easier to use than other things like Teams, because I did space school last week on Teams and I couldn't get into it because I'd already logged in to Teams for my school. Whereas Zoom, you don't even need to create an account. You can just log in, put the meeting ID in, put in the passcode, your name, and that's you on. It's really simple as well. So I think loads of folk will be quite familiar with Zoom now, because I know lots of my friends use it, and we would use it outside of like school. So we'd use it as like a group FaceTime for when we couldn't go out and meet and stuff. So I do think a lot more people are familiar with it and won't struggle to use it at all.
So it's a lot easier now to what it was, and I think we'll get a lot more out of it again this year.
One of the big reasons that we decided to go for virtual last year, and not many people knew of Zoom. You know, I mean, Zoom is something you've done in a car. Nobody knew much what Zoom was, but we decided to go for it because we reckoned that the people of Kenzie's age would know all about speaking face-to-face with somebody remotely, simply because they do it all the time. And that was one of the deciding factors that we would give it a go. But of course, now we all know about Zoom and probably spend a good 3/4 of our week, you know, Zooming here and Zooming there, which again puts a whole connotation in the word Zoom. You know.
I think Mary's got a question.
Yeah. No, it's not a question, it's just a point. You know, taking on what Kenzie has said, you know, with Zoom, in the past, when we were selecting our RYLA candidates, you know, you were saying to them the dates, oh, I can't do that because I may be going on holiday. Whereas now with Zoom, it's much more flexible. They can use Zoom wherever they've got access to a computer or internet. So it means then that the hiccup that we used to have with holidays isn't such a big hiccup now, that it's much more open for many students to take part.
Yeah, definitely. We were a wee bit luckier last year, I suppose, that not many people could go on holiday. You know, you were not
Yeah.
allowed to basically leave your room, you know.
I know.
Whereas at one time you told people if you're bad, you'll stay in your room. But even if you were good, you'd stay in your room. You didn't get a choice. So we were a bit luckier that year. I think people will be, the time we do it, they will be looking to go a long weekend here or there. But as you so rightly say, Mary, you can log into Zoom anywhere.
Yeah, it's very flexible.
Phone, you can do it on your tablet. You can do it absolutely whatever. All you need is Wi-Fi. Yes, Elizabeth.
It was just to ask, I know when I discussed it with you, we talked about the fact that because there'd be a volume of people in your team, so would we be suggesting to the participants that they'd be better using a PC rather than their phones so that they can see everybody in their group more easily?
Absolutely. That was my very next point. Actually, I was going to say that each participant has to have, if it's possible to have a printer, that would be fantastic. But there's so many don't have a printer. The printer bit doesn't matter, but it would be good to have it. They have to have access to the internet. And it's a lot of people saying, well, obviously, well, not necessarily, because they've got data and stuff that they can use. They need to have access to the internet, and a PC or tablet is far better than a phone, because a phone restricts your vision so much, you know. Now, that's not to say that if they don't have these things, we don't want them. That's not the case. Please don't take that as being the case. But it's a lot better if they can have a PC or a tablet rather than a phone, you know. Because at the moment, I'm what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 people per screen I've got here. On a phone, you'll be lucky if you get 2, maybe 3. So if you're looking at 14, 15 people, it's a wee bit more difficult when you're on a phone rather than on a PC. There's not a lot of, there's some note taking to be done, but there's not a lot of writing on it. So anybody who thinks, oh, I can't spell, I can't write, I can't this, I can't that, nobody's got to get to see this but you. So whatever shorthand it is that people use to get by in their day is fine. We've had Rylarians who were 70% dyslexic, and we helped out any way we can. In Zoom, it doesn't matter, because the only person that sees your notes is you. So if there's a dyslexia problem kicking about in there, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all to do with the joining in and the working out, as opposed to getting marked for your English. Good grief, if I had to get marked for English, I would never have got anywhere. Although in saying that, people still say I've never got anywhere. So who knows? Who knows? Good. I see we're losing people as well that have to go. So I hope I'm not pulling everybody out of where they should be. Now, just while I'm remembering here, I was wanting to hold this meeting last week on last week was the 16th, and we couldn't do it because I couldn't get my co-host. And Kenzie, would you like to tell them why I couldn't get my co-host? Don't be shy.
I was at space school all of last week.
Space school. School. Good grief. Wow. Go.
That's a jolly good excuse.
Yes, it is a jolly good excuse, John. You're absolutely dead right. Space school. So you're looking at the new Janeway sitting here.
It was a week-long programme that was held at Strathclyde University in conjunction with NASA, and usually it would be a week-long residential through in the Strathclyde halls, but obviously this year it was online, and everyone from Scotland was able to apply, and 100 people got in, and then me and one other person from my school got in, and we got put into different teams, and each team was given a brief on improving an aspect of living up in the ISS, so either sleeping, hygiene, eating or exercising, and our team got sleeping, and we had to come up with a product that would enhance our like brief and like our problem in space, and then we had to pitch it to a board of like astronauts and engineering students and like biomed students and stuff. And then we also got a couple talks from either current or retired astronauts or folk who were in like their last couple of years of uni. And it was really good actually, I really enjoyed it. But I missed out on a little bit of school because it was right at the start of my new timetable as well. So I missed all my new classes, which is a bit annoying, but I think it was definitely worth it.
Now, how many other people sitting here can say well, I was getting talked to by an astronaut? Not many, I don't think. Not many. No, that was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and well worth the actual waiting to the next week so that Kenzie could go to space school. Wow, space school.
I think that's an example of how Zoom works and how the remote things work. Because I take it you weren't up in a rocket. You were up there.
No, it was great. We got to speak to folk that were all over the place. There was a guy, one of them was in Russia, one of them was in Canada, one was in America. So they were all over, like all spread across the world. And usually they wouldn't be able to come to Scotland to talk to us because it's too far away from what they're doing. So we got to speak to more people because it was on Zoom and they could connect from anywhere in the world, which is really good.
Wonderful.
I think that time is of the essence, James.
Yeah.
Could you reiterate, please, the dates in July for the RYLA event, and would you summarise it as an opportunity to improve your leadership skills?
Well, okay, first things first, 24th and 25th of July. 24th and 25th of July.
Yes.
It's going to cost you £40 a pop.
Yes.
And going down to the summarising, one of the questions we asked last year, and I'm going to read this out because there's too much to try and remember. One of the questions we asked last year was to help future candidates to decide whether or not to attend RYLA, please summarise what the RYLA experience has meant to you. And this young lady wrote, this RYLA experience has been great for me. It has helped me build and sharpen my skills. It has helped me learn new things that I will be able to teach others. And like B.B. King said, the beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take it away from you. Learning is a treasure that will follow its owner everywhere. This experience has been both of these for me. I want and I have learned to help, and I want this to help me assist in making my immediate community and eventually the world a better place. I hope future candidates do decide to embark on this journey, and I hope they do attain the treasure at the end of it, for this is truly a treasure that no one can take away.
Well, you obviously want us to sell this event to our Rotary clubs. So can you put on your screen your email address, and we'll do our diligent thing and get in touch with you for the details to pass on. Some of us have handover meetings tomorrow, so time is of the essence. So can you let us have your email address, please?
It's on the right hand side. If you click the button at the bottom, it says chat.
Chat, right?
Right. On look to the right hand side, you'll see right at the very top, it says ryla1020@yahoo.com.
And that'll get you. Thank you.
And that'll get me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Guys, it's so difficult to explain RYLA. RYLA is something you have to be involved in. You have to live it. You have to breathe it. And the reason I got involved in it was a way back 13, 14 years ago when I was a brand new Rotarian. A thing came up saying, on Thursday, we're going to have a Rylarian talking to us. I thought, what the hell's a Rylarian? So I asked one or two of the members, what the hell's a Rylarian? They said, well, come on Thursday and find out. So I went on Thursday, found out, and this boy and girl was speaking away. And at the end of it, the girl stood up and said, after RYLA, I firmly believe I could do anything. So, oh my God, 15. I firmly believe I can do anything. What is this magical place? As it turned out, Ian Carroll was in my club, and Ian Carroll eventually left his RYLA duties after doing 19 years of it. And I mentioned it to Ian, and he said, well, we've got a RYLA for Rotarians in a couple of weeks, come up to that. And that was the first time I'd met Alistair as well. And thereafter, there was no turning back. It's difficult. It's so hard to sit and say, it's amazing, it's brilliant, you must do it. And everybody's going, yeah. But so's Shelter Box, and so's this, and so's that, and so's something else. It's another one of these things where you have to live it, you have to be there, you have to be in it to do it. And it doesn't matter whether you're in and doing it on the Zoom side or you're in and doing it on the hanging and swinging, because it's the same. It's the exact same. It's just you don't get the small talk in the Zoom, you know, but you still get the camaraderie. You still get the working together as a team. You still go through all the things that's involved in it. And it's hard. It's hard to explain it until you've been there. However, Alistair, if you can explain it any better, or maybe even less words, feel free.
I think you're right. I think it's not something you can explain it, and you can tell people that it's this life-changing event. And as you say, people go, yeah, I understand that. It has a great time. But until you're sitting watching the fact that, again, in peacetime, a group of 30 boys or 30 girls come in silently, looking around them, wondering what's going on, all a bit nervous from that first, have that first session. They're all a bit concerned about what they're going to do. They don't quite understand what's happening. They don't really know what Rotary is. They don't really know what's going to happen over the course of that, in that case, that week. And to see over the course of that week, and then you see how they change, and people come back on the last day and cannot believe it's the same group of people that were there that previous week. They're all talking, they're all chatting, they're all much more effervescent than they were that previous week. And we see, people, those of us that have been involved for a long time, we see that those friendships continue forever after, and we see that these guys go on to do things that they themselves admit they wouldn't have thought possible. Peter, at the start of the course, you can explain to somebody what happens at RYLA. You can explain to people the change that happens in these young people. You don't truly understand it until you've seen it and been part of it.
A lot of you fellow Rotarians must have seen it in the applicants that you've sent to RYLA and have come back and spoke to your club. John, you were going to say?
I can certainly back that one up, James. Every person that comes back from RYLA has got more self-awareness and a raised level of their own self-esteem. They look at themselves differently. They're the same person. Everybody will treat them the same, but the individual looks at themselves differently. It's that feeling of self-esteem, and they've got this through tackling things that were outside of their past experience, that they didn't think they could ever do. And yet, with encouragement of others, they've achieved it. And when you see them afterwards, and we have them giving presentations to the rest of the school, that's what they say. And we had 4 youngsters every year, particularly the last time they came. Those 4 youngsters would never, ever have stood in front of a whole school and given a presentation. But they did without any prompting. It was a prepared script they'd worked out themselves against the background of the RYLA film. They were brilliant. It made my job much easier to get recruits for the last year that we did at RDNEG.
Definitely. And the same thing happens on Zoom, guys. Don't think it's got to be when you're together. The same thing happens. And the first time I heard Kenzie speak was she was asked along to Livingston to explain about RYLA on Zoom. Now, just because you don't have them physically with you doesn't mean you can't ask your Rylarians back, because we're all doing it like this now. And as I said, that was the first time I heard Kenzie speak. As it turned out, Kenzie's mum was also a mentor at one point as well, and then left to have a family. Who does that? What? Get your priorities right, for goodness sake. You know, so she left to have a family, which was great. But don't think that what Alistair and John was saying doesn't happen on Zoom. It does. You're still strangers together. You're sitting there as strangers. You get put into wee groups. You get put into what we call the breakout room, and they don't know each other. They really don't. They've got to get that wee bit of, well, what do you think? And well, maybe not. And they're just a wee bit shy on what's happening. And then within 2 breakouts, maybe even 1 breakout, they're talking over the top of each other because everybody's comfortable with what it is. And we've all been there, every single one of us. How many times have you been on a course with your work or with whatever it is that you do, and you walk into a room and you go, God, I hope they don't sit me beside him. I hope they don't sit me beside her. You don't even know them. You don't even know them, and we've already said, no, that's not going to happen. Oh my God, why did you put me over there? And then before you know it, you're buying each other drinks at the bar. You know, if it happens to us, what is it like 15, 16-year-olds? You know, it's just no.
That was one of the questions, was age-wise, what age group are you looking for? 15, 16-year-olds?
Yeah, 15, 16, 17, something along that kind of line. Well, we've always tried hard that when the Rylarians went back to school, they can give something back to the school as well.
Okay.
Sorry, Kenzie, you were going to say.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, when you were talking about how you don't have to be necessarily in person to get the benefits of RYLA, that I found it really beneficial in a couple of ways, because we had a talk right at the start about skills of like idea generation and team building and like brainstorming and like thinking about ideas. And not only did we get the sort of friendship aspect, but we also got the skills aspect of leadership and brainstorming, which I took on into other things like my subjects at school. So brainstorming ideas I was taught in RYLA, I took into like my folios and design and manufacture, which has helped me through my exams, and leadership skills I was taught in RYLA has helped me when I'm applying for like jobs and stuff, because I did a couple of tests when I was applying for jobs, and some of the tests were like, what would you do in this situation? And the leadership skills that I learned from RYLA helped me obtain jobs. And it's also something that's great on your CV, because whenever I put it on my CV for anything, folk are always like, oh, what's that? Tell me a little bit about that. And it's a great thing to talk about.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Guys, I understand you've given up your midweek night to be here with us. I really, really appreciate it, honestly, because other than that, it would be just me, Brendan, Alistair, and they've heard everything I want to say anyway. So I definitely appreciate it. In the off chance you don't think we're enthusiastic about RYLA, we really are. We really are. And we would like to see as many people as you can possibly send there. And as I said, I'm going to work really hard to see if we can get anybody international involved. But it's like everything else. They say yes, and then something else happens. And then, you know, what takes precedence sort of thing. So if there is no other questions, or if there is no other anything, please have a really safe evening. Go home, enjoy if you're not in your home already, go home, enjoy yourself, stay safe, stay happy, and with any luck, we'll see you somewhere around about the 24th or the 25th. And I'm expecting tomorrow that my inbox will be solid with people going, send me bits of paper, you know, and we'll see what happens after that.